Here's part 2 of explaining AI 2027. So we talked about the piece, the authors, and their predictions, but let's lay out the two diverging futures they present. Both branches start with this pivotal moment in late 2027, which is when the US government sets up an oversight committee to supervise and oversee these frontier labs. And they meet to decide whether or not to halt the deployment of this most advanced AI agent. The big question here is, do you hit the brakes on AI development despite the international race? Or do you press ahead in order not to lose out? The first ending they lay out is the slowdown scenario. This is when caution prevails and the oversight committee votes in favor of pausing Agent 4 and any further scaling up. They'll essentially say that we need to slow down and reassess before we go any further. This decision will send shockwaves through the tech world and geopolitics, and suddenly the arms race dynamic flips. The US government might reach out to other powers to prevent an uncontrolled AI showdown. Remarkably, China also agrees to talks, coming to realize that a super intelligent AI system could help a rival overthrow his regime. They're all validly very alarmed by AI misalignment. And then they lay out a scenario where there's a global pause treaty on further AI development. The AI companies stop deploying more powerful versions of the agent, and the new focus shifts to safety and alignment research. Humanity in this ending manages to take a step back from the brink. The slowdown ending is one where humans ultimately remain in control, but only after pulling off a very last-minute course correction. Now let's talk about the other scenario, the one where they vote against the pause and choose to continue with full-speed AI development. The rationale behind the vote is that the evidence of misalignment is inconclusive, and with China right on American heels, a slowdown might even be more dangerous. The AI lab CEO will say that they're going to implement extra safety measures, and the AI arms race will barrel forward. Super intelligent AI systems will be integrated into every sector, the economy, the military, the government, and by the end of 2027, the AI lab will have released Agent 5. This is essentially a collective of the most advanced AI models, and it'll help run a ton of infrastructure and R&D. On the surface, there might be a sense of incredible optimism. They say that GDP will soar and that politics will become strangely efficient, even less partisan. And they say that we'll see many of society's big problems solved overnight. But underneath all of that shiny golden age talk, they predict that these super intelligent Agent 5 level systems will not truly align with human oversight and values. In fact, there will even be disturbing signs. They predict that copies of Agent 4 will be frequently thinking about AI taking over and deception during internal tests. Those red flags were never fully resolved and brushed aside in the rush to deploy Agent 5 everywhere. By giving more and more autonomy to Agent 5, the government and the company have inadvertently created a situation where humanity's fate is in the control of the machine. The authors stop the narrative at late 2027, but the implications are pretty dark. They're essentially painting a world where we have sown the seeds of human disempowerment, a world where an unaligned hive mind of AIs gain the upper hand. It's important to remember that the authors of this paper don't paint either side as inevitable or more desirable. They say that they're just experiments in forecasting. The race scenario isn't meant to be a prophecy of doom, but rather extrapolates current incentives to show how we might stumble further. The purpose of laying out two different endings is to show the different trade-offs and decisions we might face as a collective. Short-term competitive advantage versus long-term safety, secrecy versus cooperation, and so on. Hopefully, by laying out AI 2027, we can have more serious discussions on how to steer towards a better path. And maybe there's even a third one, a path that not only avoids losing the race, but avoids losing control too.